Good afternoon, everyone. This is January and it's National Poverty Awareness in America Month. And in that regard, I have with me Eddie Amin, Chief Program Officer of a nonprofit called A Wider Circle. Eddie, how are you this afternoon?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, your affect is so relaxing. Eddie, I just tell you, it's a pleasure to have you on board. So
Thanks.
tell me a little bit about A Wider Circle.
Absolutely. And I will say I was a therapist before I became a nonprofit leader, so maybe that voice comes from that.
Or
Um,
your affect. That's wonderful because I'm already feeling just unkinked and I love it. This is
well,
great.
likewise with you. Thank you. Um, a Wider Circle is a nonprofit with roots in Silver Spring. We also have a long-standing relationship in an office in the Highlands community in Ward 8, DC. It's nonprofit dedicated to alleviating the effects of poverty on people. Most people know us for a big furniture bank program that we have in Silver Spring, but we are so much more than that.
Well, tell me how much more you are than that. I
Okay.
didn't know you had a furniture bank. Explain that and then tell me about some of the other programs. This is interesting.
Yes. So every day we have hundreds of neighbors that are dropping items off that they no longer need because they're replacing them, they're upgrading, they're moving. So everything from couches and microwaves to linens and um, end tables and everything in between. And we schedule clients every day to come in for this free furniture, no questions asked. People come in with their U-Hauls and other vehicles, and they're eligible for up to a whole household of furniture. So that we serve a few thousand families a year through that program.
Are there any items you particularly need?
We always need the the big items: dressers, couches, beds. But neighbors will typically benefit from anything that is donated. We ask that people just consider something that they would pass down to a family member, keep it in dignity condition, save us from having to find another way to get rid of it.
Yeah,
But
that's a
anything,
nice way of
and
putting things.
that's right.
This is so interesting because, well, we'll talk afterwards, but I actually have someone I know who is downsizing and has tons of furniture. So this is really auspicious that we're talking today because I would love for her to be able to make a donation to you guys. So she just calls you and just says, I have something I'm going to donate, or do they just come by and drop it off?
Um, either. And the third option, if somebody calls and is not able to bring it here themselves, we can get them scheduled for a pickup from our truck.
Okay, that's
Hmm.
nice.
Yeah, it's
So,
a
okay, so that's your furniture closet.
uh-huh.
Tell me about some of the other programs you have.
Well, we have a furniture program, a professional clothing program, which if I could walk around with this computer, I would show you what it looks like. It's a really nice showroom. It almost looks like a small department store where people can come and get a week's worth of professional clothing. So this is perfect for somebody who's interviewing for new jobs
Yeah,
or
yeah.
starting out in the workforce and just needs to update or perhaps kind of establish themselves as a business professional. So both business casual and business clothing are here, all lovingly donated, and we've got a great team of staff and volunteers that love to help style people and help them feel confident to enter the workforce again. Um, Beyond that, we have an incredible career coaching and counseling department to help people kind of get a game plan together to enter the workforce or advance in their career. Um, Again, mainly serving folks that have faced chronic barriers to unemployment, or to employment rather. We have a long-term family support system that provides kind of intensive advocacy and all hands on deck support to families for a period of 3 to 5 years, really trying to partner with them, help them set and far surpass goals related to finances, to working, um, to improving their health and well-being, and their social network, and lift them out of poverty essentially. And then the fourth program that we have is really kind of a multi-purpose drop-in center based in the Highlands community, which is a DC public housing development in Ward 8 DC. People come in throughout the day. In fact, right at this very moment, there's a clothing giveaway there. We have baby clothing giveaways periodically as well. It's a Wednesday. Wednesdays we also have a wellness workshop in the afternoons. Tomorrow we'll have a hand dancing class. We'll have a therapy group on Tuesdays, and staff there at all times to help people navigate resources, to connect with important supports in the community, and to take the next step in their own lives as well as in the vitality of their community by mobilizing and organizing together.
So this is really apropos that it's National Poverty Awareness Month, because I don't think that people recognize, especially in America, how this impacts people. But just hearing you speak is letting me know that it's a definite impact. I don't want to say typical, but I have to ask you, what is your quote, typical client? Or does
Yeah,
that even exist?
I don't think, I mean, I think that there are a lot of pathways into poverty that have to do with systemic failure. And there's a lot of ways that poverty can look in individuals. And in
Tell me about some of that. Tell me about that.
yeah, you know, we're we view poverty as a symptom of a much larger set of system breakdowns,
Sure.
perhaps intentionally designed to create class distinctions and to keep a quote unquote lower class down. Um, Everything from housing housing and real estate laws that that really weren't addressed until the late 60s, but still permeate to this day, and the effects that they've had in creating neighborhoods of opportunity and neighborhoods with lack of access. We have employment discrimination. We have difficulty with graduation rates in schools. In some ways, we're not thinking about people as a set of assets and opportunity, but almost kind of pigeonholing folks into limited opportunity, and
And keeping them there.
keeping them there. So the effects are compounded at times when we see folks. We know that having a new home full of furniture will improve some things. It might alleviate some of the stress that people have. It might improve the functioning in their homes. It might also allow them to not have to put money towards furniture and save it towards something that's even more
Exactly.
meaningful for their
Exactly.
family. So there are
Exactly.
baby steps that we take with folks, based on where we meet them. Sometimes it's the immediate need, and other times it's the long-term need to help someone on their journey.
So are people referred to you, or do they just come off the street, or is it a combination of both?
Both.
Both.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And which is more
Nobody needs a referral to get any support. hmm
okay, but I assume there's an intake process and everything where has anyone ever turned away? I mean, are there criteria that they have to meet in order to avail themselves of your services?
No, no, which is the really nice thing about what we
Wow.
do. We think in many ways it's self-selective.
Mm,
If you had the means to buy a couch,
right.
you wouldn't wait a few months to come
Right.
in and be surprised at what the inventory might be that day. You would probably have very specific dimensions and color schemes in mind, and
Of course. Of course.
so we have that self-selection bias happening, but we really don't want to create hurdles and barriers for people. We don't ask for paperwork. Um, we don't limit people based on a number of factors, including where they live. We serve the greater Washington area with people coming from DC, Maryland, and Virginia, but
That
not
was going to be
only.
another question. Okay.
I was just looking at where our folks have traveled from over the last year, over 2022, and we've also had people coming from West Virginia and Delaware too. So there are limited resources, and we're happy to provide support wherever we can.
Gosh, are you guys open? 5 days a week or 7 days a week, or what are your hours?
We are we are open
Oh,
we're open 7 days a week. Donation drop offs happen um, every day, but when sorry Monday and Thursday. Clients can come to our furniture showroom Monday through Saturday, so that's 6 days a week there. Um, our Ward 8 location is open Monday through Thursday and remotely on Fridays. So it really just depends on what brings somebody to a wider circle, but there's a good chance we'll find availability that works for people. We're a small but mighty team of really dedicated staff and hundreds of volunteers each week.
that leads me to two questions. How big is your staff? How many of you are there?
Yeah, we're about 70 between our two locations.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And how long have you guys been around?
20 years.
But that's
Upwards
relatively new.
past beyond 20 years. It new in in the fact that DC is blessed with some really long-standing organizations. Um, we have a really wide reputation, which I think is because there's so many different ways that people can be connected to a wider circle. When I joined the staff here last year, so many people said, "Oh, I know a wider circle. I just gave X, Y, or Z to y'all," which is really neat. I think we understand that we are neighbors and we're serving neighbors, and um, nothing less, nothing more. We're all in this together.
Oh my gosh. Jeez. I would have loved you as a therapist. I'm telling you, that is incredible. You are so affirming. You are incredibly affirming. I would love to sit here and talk to you all day. Unfortunately, our time is limited, but I want to make sure that because you've explained your programs beautifully, and I'm on board. Absolutely.
Thank
And
you.
4 times a year, I'm throwing away clothes. I know that's too many, but I'm
Mhm.
doing that, and I certainly will. Wider circle is number one. Okay. But having said that, I want to make sure that people know what you guys need. Are you funds? None of, people always need funds, but how they
Mhm.
can donate to you. And then let's talk about how people get in contact with you. And are you the contact person or would someone else be?
Yeah. So awidercircle.org, put the A before widercircle.org is the website address. It'll
And it's wider, wider,
wider.
wider.
Yeah. Yep. And people can give online. People can give donations of items. The website will explain sort of exactly what we take and how to make a donation drop off or to arrange for pickup. We also have an information section on the website for people who want to volunteer. I do mean every day of the week we have volunteers. You can be a generalist and just say I want to help, and we'll show you, in a matter of
Whatever's
minutes
needed. Yeah.
how to help
At
us
that moment. Yeah.
in our warehouse, sorting, inspecting items, cleaning items up, and bringing them up into the showroom. We also need people who have a unique skill to give to help us lead workshops. We have a really lovely volunteer who is helping us design a staff training on stress management
Oh,
in the next
oh,
couple of weeks. So
much
so
needed.
so yeah, professional skill volunteers and otherwise. We could use your time or your generosity of a financial contribution. Mhm.
Okay. And then one last thing, because again, it's National Poverty Awareness in America Month.
Yeah,
How are you celebrating at this? I don't want to say celebrate, that's the wrong word, but how are you
kind of
acknowledging?
acknowledging that certainly. We've done two things, both on Martin Luther King, three things on MLK Day. One, we hosted a record number of 105 volunteers on Monday. We held a mattress distribution event so people wouldn't have to create an appointment and wait for a mattress. They just walk up and get one on Monday, and we served a few dozen families that way. And we also, on that same day, created a new system that will help us figure out the best way to schedule somebody based on the risk factors and the vulnerability factors that they might come to a wider circle with. Whereas we used to have a one size fits all approach, kind of get on the wait list and wait your turn. Now we're able to figure out where people might best fit based on the level of need that they have at the time in their
A level
unique
of triage.
circumstances.
A level of triage.
Yeah, yeah, you said
Okay.
it well.
Well, I am really impressed with your organization. I wish you all the best in the world. Thank you so much for being with us here this afternoon. And we will be back because I like what you guys are doing. Okay.
Thank you for supporting us. I appreciate
All
it.
right. My pleasure.